was thinking about taking a couple laps. I just wanna dive in. Yeah. Dive in. Yeah. Splash. Baby girl, that you waterfall. Feel it coming down on me so crazy. Yeah. Girl, I love the way your body talk. Come a little closer just like that. Keep on talking, girl, you got me wanting to go deeper than you'll ever know.
Hola, hola, hola is your number one around the way girl, Pheonix Frye, and welcome to the Tell All. We are here live with Mr. J.Williams, Mr. Fantasies of Passion. All right, let's change this because we, listening to Trey and all this, I can't stay focused. All right. So, how are you? We're just going to get straight to the point because, time is of the essence.
Okay, now, I'm ready.
Yeah. So, Mr. Can I call you Mr. Fantasy?
Hey, man, whatever you
and
want to do.
And Mr. Passion.
Mr. Passion.
It is the perfect time to have you here today. I'm so happy to have you here in the studio. Especially, you're kind of opening up the night for me for the gentleman's night, And it's all about, giving kudos and love to the men in our community who's really hold it down for families that don't even belong to theirs, for women, and just being supportive and father figures. And you are one of them because I know you speak to the youth a lot in our community, and you're a big advocate for the youth and a big advocate for people that are currently, incarcerated and transitioning out.
Absolutely.
Yay, so we like that. But that is not all you do, Mr. Author.
Okay, now. I do a lot of things, man. I try to keep busy.
And that's important,
right.
And that's important. But one of the things that you do is you are a published author.
Absolutely.
So why don't you name the list of books that you have written that are completed, and then we'll focus on the ones that I want to talk about.
Okay. Well, as you know, my name is J.Williams. I'm author of 4 books, owner of Casual Business Moves Publishing Company. The first book is Wrong Turn Right. It details the story of my life to age 18. The second book is Source of Information, age 18 to 25. It brings you into the lifestyle of Boston and the travels with the Source magazine, and a little bit of the street issues that were going on in that time. And then I have Fantasies Passion Part 1 and 2. Basically, these are erotic short stories, all made up, different characters, bring you in different settings, man, and it's sure to just keep you hot throughout the night.
Interesting.
Very.
So thank you for that list of wonderful books. I have them. No, I have 3.
Right.
I have The Source. I don't have the second one. And then I have both Fantasies of Passion 1 and 2. And I will have to say the Fantasies of Passion, both of them are just out of this world. And I heard you slip in there, all made up.
Well, listen, man, because they you would tell by reading the stories that, I'm not involved. Like, there's different nationalities, different age groups. I have Erin all the way from 70 years old to little college students, man. So, it's a variety, a little bit of something for everybody, but it definitely will splash you, in the bedroom.
Wow. He said splash you. Yes.
Yeah, keep it nice.
Absolutely. If you are trying, remember, this is Big City Radio 88.5 FM. If you are home with the children and you are listening live on the app, or you're just listening, driving in the car, please. And I'm big on do not touch that app. Nobody moves, nobody gets hurt. But you turn us down or something because it's going to get a little hot in here. Okay. So I want to know, from writing the books that you wrote in the beginning, The Source, and the second one is called what again?
Well, the first one is called Wrong Turn Right.
Oh, Wrong Turn Right.
The second one is called Source of Information.
Okay. So after those books,
right,
what made you get into erotic writing?
So I had never read a Zane book,
Ooh.
but all the ladies had heard and talked about Zane. So
we love Zane.
Right. So I was incarcerated. When I came home, I looked into who Zane was as an author. I found out she was one of the top selling authors in the urban community. So I was like, okay, that's a lane that I want to pursue. I said, okay, let me just do a twist, do short stories. Like I said, I never read a book, so I did the first book, and then I ended up bumping into Zane Sex Chronicles. Found
Ooh.
out that she had a bunch of short story books.
Yeah.
But again, man, I feel like I put my twist on and I give her props, man. So she's one of the people that inspired me.
Yeah, shout out to Zane. Zane,
Absolutely.
I think I read her first. Well, one of the first books I read of Zane was Addicted, and they made a movie. I'm telling you, reading is so much better.
I saw the movie.
Yeah, reading is so much. You get a better visual in your head because
Right.
the movie really wasn't to my liking. But with Zane, she's a woman, right? And she was very tasteful, very bountiful in her writing.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, there is a big difference from her writing to your writing.
Oh.
Like it's real different. It's different to hear or to read men write erotic because your views of it is so much different than a woman's.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
I did say I did when I did look into a book, I saw that we had like two different writing styles, and yeah, I love her style as well, man. I don't know, I wanted to do it from my point of view, give it from, like you said, from a guy's point of view. And some of the news stories in part 2 are telling from a female's point of view, so where I'm like actually coming across as a female in the story. So, that's what
And you still manage to. I mean, I'm telling you, even when that's like talking to your friends, right?
Right.
You're gonna talk to your guy friends about what this woman said or did or how she moved, and you guys are gonna guess what y'all think she's thinking.
Right.
And usually you're wrong. You right? No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, no, I'm
I
gonna
thought-
tell-
I thought that guys
No.
were always right.
All right, so all right, I'm gonna put it like this.
Okay.
I don't talk to my female friends and say, "Girl, what do you think he's thinking?" Because the way we think is completely different than the way you guys think.
Okay.
So the same thing with you guys. You'll
Absolutely.
sit there and have a man, she ain't up to no good. Or me and my friend, she'll be like, "Girl, he's probably over there thinking about you, and he ain't thinking about me at all."
Right. I get
So
that.
what I'm saying is, you writing erotic stories and a female, it is completely different. Even on your woman's point of view and her male's point of view. And Zane is she's a good writer, but I'm telling you, your stories are just, I'm telling you, if you are practicing celibacy, this is not a book for you.
Well, listen, man. This is I wanted to make them great stories and not just about sex, man. So a lot of them have like a twist at the end or have funny moments. So, it's just not okay, a porn when you go with a porn movie where you go in and bang, it's 2 seconds in, it's going in.
Right.
No, there's elaborate stories where you get to learn the characters. There's funny moments and there's always a twist, and it just happens to have some erotica involved in them.
Right.
Right.
So another thing, what do you think makes a great erotic story? Like, I'm sure you write them and they sound good to you, but what do you think makes a great story, especially when it comes to passion, love, and then a mixture of.
Well, I think you have to have a great plot to begin with, man. A plot always, sets the tone to where you're trying to go. And then you have to be creative, man. You always want to throw a reader off guard, man, where they think you're going somewhere and maybe you go somewhere else. And then you have to try to take them on a mission up in the sky with you, So
Right.
you have to grasp them where they're like, oh wait, what's going on? And they're like wanting to turn that next page. So I feel like you have to keep it interesting. You have to throw some spice in, and of course, you have to do what the ladies like, man. So you have to touch on, the points that they might want touched on at that moment in time that the story's happening. So I try to get into their mind.
That's good to know that you try to get into their mind, because I remember being on one of your lives, right? This was a while back, and one of the topics were communication during sex.
Right.
You know, it's great that men can try to get into our minds, but you know, it's 617-282-0062. Why don't you guys call in? All you listeners that are out there, call in on this topic here, because
Come on and call in and
yeah,
talk to your
call
boy,
in. Yeah,
you know?
call in, or send a message right here through the live on Facebook. I want to know, do most men think that they can just please a woman straight off the bat? Because that, when you had went live, the topic was about communication, or the lack of communication in a relationship, in a sexual relationship.
Right.
But do you think, because this is what I think men go in without asking any questions. They don't care, and they think that, girl, I got the flavor you want, and think they're doing.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Listen, if you think you got that pipe game, man, you think you going in, man. So absolutely. But I do think communication is a big key if you're looking to please a lady. If you're looking to find out what she likes, you know, ask those questions. And it doesn't even have to be ahead of time. You can talk while you're actually in the app. You know?
Right.
So, you know, I think communication is a key, but it's also a big turn on, because ladies actually like when you talk to them during sex. So if you're saying the right words, you can actually make a lady orgasm just by your words alone. So, you know, fellas, I encourage you, you know, to be, you know, use your voice, man. You know, just don't stroke, man. You know, be boisterous.
Right. Ask questions, please. And another thing,
Don't ask too many questions. That could be crazy. And you know what I mean? Don't ask questions. You know what I mean? Don't give her a survey during sex.
Yeah, no, we don't want a survey. But ask questions like,
Right.
you know, do you like this? How does this make you feel?
Right.
I think that helps with, you know, the longevity of a sexual relationship.
Absolutely.
Another thing I was going to say, I don't know if it just slipped my mind, but why is it when women are verbal about, and I mean, this is just a question, you're not going to answer for all the men,
Right, absolutely.
but why is it that some men get very offended by their lack of pleasing the woman?
Oh, because, you know, I don't think that, well, guys have been lied to for 100 years. I think that's why. So, you know what I mean? For a guy to actually hear it and be like, whoa, she's actually telling me what, you know, I'm doing not to please her. I think a lot of guys' egos get in the way, man, instead of taking it on as a challenge. Like, okay, you know what? I'm going to hit that spot and then bring it to another one. They'll be like, you know what? That's, she, you know, it's her. It ain't me. You know what I mean? So you get into the blame game instead of just trying to find a solution. And I think a lot of people do that in life, period.
So do you think that a woman who lies about having an orgasm is wrong to her mate? Okay, so a woman, I heard that some married couple just experienced this.
I think a lot of guys think that they're pleasing their women. So it's like, okay, if you're not telling them that something's wrong, then they're gonna be doing the same move, thinking that that's their go-to move.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, that right there, man, is what, you know, she starts screaming right there. So I think that you have to, you know, like, again, have communication with each other, man, and just learn what each other like. And you might be like, okay, you don't have to say something's wrong, but you can say, let's try something different. There's other ways of just bringing it to, you know, the bedroom that might not offend your partner.
Right. I think it's imperative to be honest, you know, with your partner, because I mean, I never had a problem with just saying, I don't like that. Like, what are you doing?
Me neither. I've always been to be like, I point, you know what I mean? I get to bring in the signs. I listen.
Right.
I'll bring in everything to let you know, like that ain't it right there. Yeah, listen. I think that you have to be, you have to show your partner what you like. If not, man, you're gonna be stuck in the same boring routine. And let's face it, man, that sex is an important part of life, man. So I think
Right.
that you have to learn to please your person or find a medium ground.
Right. So I brought my book. I want everybody to see on the live that I brought mine.
And I brought mine
It's
too.
kind of
Keep
you can
mines.
tell it's been read. But Wayne, Tanya, and Keisha is one of my favorite stories, and that's because it's the two women totally taking advantage of a guy. And you're right, he didn't really want to give in, but he did.
Right.
I see that a lot in our communities and we're not even talking about just sex. We're talking about even relationships where you have multiple partners in a one room relationship.
Right.
What do you think about a woman or a man for that matter? Because from this new show that's out with the woman with the two husbands, or the husband and the boyfriend, and now I just watched a snippet of her latest show where she's looking for a third boyfriend.
Okay, I haven't been watching that show.
You know what?
I missed that one.
That is not a show for me.
Just not a show for me.
But I mean, I'm trying to get that concept of how a man is okay with being the other man. I don't know. And maybe I'm just being biased, but I usually see women being okay with being or sharing. Sometimes because I think that's kind of like.
Well, I kind of switched it up. So, everybody's familiar with the poly. Usually a guy and two ladies. And that's why I kind of switched it up in Fantasies part 2. So I had a lady who had 2 guys, and they did everything. They was at her beck and call. So I mean, I think that everybody has to find their medium of what they're happy. I don't think that there's any set way of how you're supposed to live your life or the relationship that you should have or the standards that you should keep. I think that if you're happy, you should just try to, live in that world and just be happy with yourself and your mates, because at the end of the day, it's all about memories and it's all about the people that you share it with. Yeah. I don't have a problem with poly. I think it's the new way of the world, man, and especially with the younger generation, man, with the hot girl summer, man. They out there playing,
Playing. What does that mean? Like women having multiple relationships?
I think that women are just now coming into a new found of freedom and of, for so long, ladies have been. Hiding their, I want to say their sexuality, because guys were, looking down upon them, saying, okay, your numbers counts and all that, man, when guys' number counts be high as hell. So now ladies are basically saying, your words cannot, bring me down. I'm going to live my life and I'm going to feel proud about the way I'm living, and that's fine.
You walked us onto a different street.
Hey, man.
You walked us onto a totally different street. Okay, so we're going to have to...
I said for the younger generation.
Well, we're going to have to stay on this street. We're going to have to stay right now because, I mean, I'm kind of old school. I feel like there's things that ladies do or that men do that ladies just shouldn't do, or, so as far as the body count thing... So here's the thing. Are you saying that because of this new movement or this new time in our life, because this doesn't just count on the younger generation,
right?
Because we're still the younger generation. I mean, we're young.
I'm young.
Right. We're young, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're young and you're single and you're still dating or you're looking to settle down. I mean, these are the times where some people are like, oh, I just got out of this 10-year bid, like me, 10-year marriage, and you're out in the dating world again, right? So people's perspectives change. Right. What I thought I wanted in the past might not necessarily be what I want today.
Absolutely.
So you're dating, you're meeting new women, and you're out on a date, and the body count comment comes up.
Well, I don't think as a guy you should ever ask a lady. You know what I mean? I have never asked a lady.
Not
man.
you asking. Not you
Okay.
asking. It just comes up,
Yeah.
right? In conversation. I'm just, this hypothetical.
Right.
You did not ask any questions.
Okay.
Maybe she just says, and I realized within the last year I had, been with over 15 guys, right? Beautiful, well put together.
Right.
But within the last year, she says she's been with 15 men.
Right.
How do you take that?
Well, it depends on how you are as a guy and your standards and your morals. You know what I mean? Like growing up, I was always someone who was reserved anyway, man, on who I chose to deal with. So it's like that would turn me off. But I know a lot of my friends that might be like, she got that great stuff. You know what I mean? It just depends on who you are. And again, a lot of ladies that were promiscuous and did a lot of things, they're married now. They have husbands. So it doesn't really put a lock on where you're gonna be in life and who's gonna love you. I think that just happens naturally, man. So what I was really speaking on is just ladies saying, you're not gonna put me down by saying the body count. You know what I mean?
Okay. So what is your take on this Hulu documentary that's coming out about Freaknik? Now, do you think there should be some husbands and boyfriends upset to see their beautiful women, their wives, or even dads whose daughters were out there like
Listen, I'm gonna say this, right? So I miss Freaknik. I never went to Freaknik, but I know Freaknik. You know what I mean? Like I've been enough places to know, like, okay. And I was actually, that's what I was asking. Like, is this a new tape? Because I remember back in the days, I was actually dating someone, and the Freaknik tape came out, and she was on it. I was like, what the hell are you doing on there? You know what I mean?
Wow.
So there are Freaknik tapes that was already out for back in the day. So, I mean, listen, you have to live your life, man, and hopefully, man, you're not ashamed of anything you did in the past. All of us have skeletons, man. So if you did it out in the open, I mean, you was ready. You was ready at that time. You got to live with the consequences. But, I mean, everybody had fun, man. And the little kids, man, that growing up now, they're going to have their own little story. So live life.
So what is your take? I mean, Mr. Fantasy here.
Should they be
have
scared? I mean, listen, I think it's going to be a shock to the culture, man. You know what I mean? Because back then was just a different animal, man. You know what I mean? It's like, and when I say shock to the culture, I mean not also in a positive way, man. Because like you have to understand, ladies couldn't walk down the street back then. If you really talk about Freaknik, man, like a lady couldn't walk down the street. So it's gonna be, if they show all of Freaknik, it's gonna be crazy, man. You know what I mean? And we have the cancer culture out there. So I'm just like, people don't know what they're getting into. It could get crazy. So.
Right.
Freaknik was great.
Right. I mean, I've seen little snippets. I know I'm hearing right now there is some litigation going out. There's some women have come out to file lawsuits against the airing of the Freaknik documentary. And I think that they might have to protect who they are today. And I know certain things in your past can come up to bite you in the butt, but I'm not sure what the
legally, I don't think they have a stance on anything that was done in public that they had knowledge that could be filmed. So it's like, if you did something out in the open, unless you're underage at the time, I think that you're kind of stuck in you kind of rich your ticket to be on the on the previews. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know, man. You know, it's going to be a sticky situation for people, man. So I don't know. From my take, it seems like a lot of females want to be in the episode of Freaknik. So I don't. I haven't seen the backlash yet, but I haven't seen the views yet.
So, if that's the case, you don't think that sometimes people can be regretful? I mean, you just said, hey, live your life. Don't regret what you've done.
Everybody's gonna have regrets in their life. They're gonna have things that you're not happy about. But most of those things are kept behind closed doors or within a small group. Once you start doing things out in the open, you kind of like cross another path of you don't care. So I mean, like once you cross that path, it's like you can't go crazy, man, in front of a whole crowd, man, and do all kind of stuff, and then be like 5 years later, that's not me. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a second, I'm still watching that tape, man. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's like you have to kind of live with your consequences, but you have to be mindful in the moment that is going on.
So out of both of your books, right?
Right.
What would you say was your most craziest short story? Like the one that the two women and the guy,
right.
I thought that was really unique. And
yeah, that's not crazy. I think
can you give us a snippet
I think
of like
club reactions is like one of my craziest stories. So it's a couple who lives in Miami that goes to a everything goes sex club, man. So there's all kind of different rooms of exotic fun, man. There's all kind of props and couples. So it's just a night of just craziness. Of you turn every time you turn your head, there's some new action going on in the news story. So that I would say by far is one of the freakiest, craziest stories I've written.
Interesting.
Right.
So speaking of that,
I also like listen. I had Atlanta Housewives. If you ever saw the episode of Bolo, I redid that. So I have 5 housewives, but they hire 2 strippers. They hire a male stripper and a female stripper and a DJ. So that story itself is crazy as well.
Which book is that in?
That is in Fantasies of Passion Part 2. And so everything you probably didn't see that you thought might have went on in that episode, I kind of recreated it where you're like, okay, yeah, that's what happened.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That's, but it's my take, it's my spin, man, and it's a great story.
Would you say you're the type that anything goes type of person? I mean, we're talking, you're like, hey, whatever, are you that?
Goes like what?
All right. So the story of you go into the club and there's rooms with all kind of stuff. Have you ever experienced doing like swingers? I hear that's really popular as well. Like,
so I've never swung, but I know that's something that people do, and there's actual sex clubs and around the area. We spoken about it on my page, but yeah, I mean, I feel like, man, whatever you are into, you just have to be honest with yourself, man. Don't let people hold you back, man. Don't let people, standards, man, be yours. Because I've learned in life, people will talk down on you, but the second that you're winning on something, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I could have did that better, or let me try that. You know what I mean? So you just have to keep it real with yourself and what you like and what's going to make you happy.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. Like, I could do it better. And I think, too, that I can do it better mentality also, it shows itself in sexual relationships where women are fighting each other over the man that they're sharing. So, with men having relationships with 2 different women that one thinks it's monogamous, what do you think that a man should do? I remember seeing this interview of a wife and a husband. She got tired of her husband cheating with a woman that she said, let me just meet her. I just want to meet her because I'm tired of the lying and the cheating.
So I've actually, man, listen, man, that happens in life, man. I've seen that in my past, man, where, you know, it's like if you can't beat them, man, join them, man. You know what I mean? And sometimes, man, you know, it's like a lot of ladies, man, be hiding their true fantasies, man. A lot of ladies, man, are attracted to other ladies, but they just never wanted to go there. You know what I mean? They never wanted their name to be out there. So I think as we got older, man, you know, a lot more things that were taboo have come to light, man. Like, you know, oral and all kind of stuff is now like a everything thing. It wasn't like that growing up. So it's like now ladies are going to the next level, you know, like why not just have my cake and eat it too?
Yeah. Well, I'm not one of those ladies.
Get the cake, ladies. Get the cake. Ain't
Not at all.
Anime. Get the cake.
You know, it's so funny that, you know, like I said, the wife that was tired ended up meeting the girlfriend on the side. 5 years she had to struggle back and forth. And eventually they became a family. Right. So they became a family. Their relationship is monogamous. So they're considered monogamous type sisters.
Right.
They don't do anything with each other.
Absolutely.
Okay. But the problem is that I realize, and I think that some of us just need to admit that certain things we're not ready for. That some women, if true, they will do things for the guy just because they want to see him happy.
Oh man, that's been happening since the beginning of time.
I
man.
mean,
You know what I mean?
yes,
Listen,
it has.
and you have to understand, just like ladies getting their way with guys, that's been happening since the beginning of time. So I think it's a give and take, man. It just depends on the person, man. Everybody, you always have a dominant, and you have someone who's, you know, wants to be loving and do anything for their mate. So it's just about who's the dominant person in a relationship and what their wants are and how much is the other person willing to bend. You know what I mean? But I mean, if it works, why change it?
If it works, why change it?
Well, you know, if it works for you, why change
Right. If it works for you, why change it? But if it doesn't work for you and you know you're not going to be able to handle it, don't do it.
Well, that's the thing is like a poly relationship isn't something that, you know, you try. That's something that, you know you want, you know. So if you're not really set on it, it could be the destruction of a relationship.
Right.
But if that's something you want, it could be an added plus and probably something that might enhance your relationship, man. It's just about how free you are with yourself, man, and basically how free you are with the world knowing what you're doing.
Right. So this is rated PG-13, I would say this conversation is. So just to ask you a question, this is a more personal question because we know you are writing short erotic stories that are made up.
Right.
But what would you say would be your most fantasy or a fantasy that you've always had that either you have completed or you just haven't yet? Well,
as everybody, I haven't completed, you know, the Mile High Club, so that would probably be my ultimate fantasy.
I'm sorry, I'm a little.
Huh?
I'm delayed a little bit.
Mile High Club?
I don't know what that is.
Well, you know, having sex on a plane. So I have got oral. I have got oral on the plane.
Okay.
So, but I never done the Mile High Club. Now, one of my biggest goals in life, man, not goals, but things that I want to do is jump out of an airplane. I haven't done that as well. Now, if I could combine the two, jumping out of an airplane and having sex, I don't know how that works or whatever, but you know what I mean? I'm a daring person, man. So, you know, now if I could combine the two, I will have completed my ultimate, you know, sexual list of what I want to do in life.
That's a unique fantasy. Have you wrote about that yet?
I didn't write about
Oh, well, you know what? You know, the Bible says, right, the pen is mightier than the sword. So maybe if you write about it and put it out there in the atmosphere, you might get what you want.
I mean, listen, that's the reason why I haven't. See, I have to get over the first hurdle. The reason why I haven't jumped out of a plane is because the first time anybody knows, you have to have someone on your back. I don't
Right.
want no guy on my back. You know what I mean? That's just gonna kill my move. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you can request. Maybe you can start uh,
Oh, here we
looking
go.
for a female, instructor that is interested in, getting to know you, and then maybe that could be
Well,
your.
I think listen, to be honest, I don't even want an instructor. I just want to jump out of a plane and just give me instructions. I think I'm going to make sure I don't die. So I'm going to pull that cord when they tell me it's time.
Oh wow, that's a really different fantasy.
Right.
Well, you're not stuck in the air, but falling thousands
That
of
would
feet
be amazing. I don't know. I don't know
or
how that would work.
dropping.
Doing something.
Really,
If you would do something.
that's different. I mean, I've never really thought about. No, I do have like a little hidden fantasy, I would say, and that's one of watching my mate have sex with someone else.
So I think that's, yeah, I think that's
mean, to
common. I
me-
think that's, to be honest with you, I think that's probably 80% of females' fantasy that
Really?
they never talk about.
Oh well,
I think a
just
lot of
opened up the-
females. I think a lot of females would love to watch their mate have sex with someone, but they couldn't live with it afterwards. You know what I mean? Just I think that's a thing. But that's why, you know, a lot of threesomes are happening now because females and males, want to explore their fantasies.
Right. But I also think threesomes happen a lot of times because that's what people like to do. I see that there's a Keith Ellison. I mean, yeah, you can speak. What would you like to say? You have a question? Or you can call in 617-282-0062 if you have a question or a comment regarding Mr. Fantasy. What was I calling
Shit.
Mr. Fantasy and Mr. Passion?
Mr. Passion, Mr. Fantasy, man, Avocado, man.
It is going down
J.Williams,
today. Big
man,
City
listen.
Radio 88.5. We were playing bedtime songs in the daytime. I really love those songs. Those songs they did open up for this conversation here.
Okay, now.
So, but Keith, what is it? Oh, anyways. It's 617-282-0062 if you would like to call
in, man. Call in and ask some questions, man. I'd love to hear from the viewers, man. See what you're thinking and talking about.
Right. So your next book.
Right. So I'm doing part 3 of my life story. For those that know me, I did 12 years incarcerated. I had to overturn serving life without parole. So part 3 is going to detail basically my incarceration, the things I went through, the fight I had to go through, and I left a lot of street stories out. So it's not going to be just a jail story. So when I go to sleep, I'm going to have nightmares, and basically I'll be back on the street and in the mix of action and stuff like that. So it's a great overall book, man. It's going to basically define who I am as a man today, and you're going to see the growth, the change of a guy.
I like that.
Right.
You already have a title?
I do, but I'm kind of still
No, that's
trying to
fine.
work it on it. But
Yep,
yeah,
that's fine.
but I am making waves. I'm probably more than halfway done with it, and I plan on just sitting in the house for a few days and just really nailing it down soon. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And what about Fantasies of Passion? Are we done with these
So,
short erotic
well,
stories?
right now, so after part 3, I want to take a little bit of break from the urban scene and just start focusing on the youth and in race relations, man. Basically how we viewed each other growing up, man. White, black, and different cultures and nationalities. So I'm gonna do a race relation book, man, and basically saying we're more alike than different,
Right.
and then I want to do something for the youth, man. Basically, steps that they can take to avoid, falling into the potholes of the streets and the bad circumstances that I kind of put myself into.
Right. And that's great. What is your plans with, you were working on a nonprofit. How is that going?
Yeah,
Is it all set?
So right now I am working under a nonprofit, but my nonprofit should be done hopefully by the summer, and yeah, I'll be ready to move. Um, I do a lot of stuff, man. Independently, out of pocket, so I don't get funded. So it's like, hey, man, whatever I could do to help the community, I'm there. I don't need anybody else, but I would love the support. But hey, we're gonna make it happen regardless.
I love that. I love to hear that. And with the plans with the youth, and we don't mean to get off topic. I mean, it is what it is. Well, let's see if we can answer this phone. Hello, at Big City Radio, 88.5 FM. It's your girl, Pheonix Frye. Uh-oh, hold on 1 second. I can't hear you.
Come on in now.
Let's see here.
I want to say happy Friday.
Can
man.
you hear me? Oh, I can't.
It's low, very low.
Let's see if we can get him on, because I can't hear him.
He's on. It's low though.
I love this conversation. Let me just say that.
Okay, now. I
Okay, we hear you now. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not hitting the right button to get you in on. But go ahead.
I had my headphones on.
Okay, is this Mr. Keith?
Conversation because I'm kind of not in that situation, but I'm trying to figure out life as it is. Like, it is hard. We as men, we do like to have multiple women, and no, it's not fair. And sometimes women like to have multiple men. You just gotta agree. If you get somebody that agrees with you, then that's fine, right?
Right. And like you said, man, it goes both ways, man. I think that we, we're stuck in a time, man, where everything was basically written on how you had to act as a man and a woman back in the days. And I think now we're coming to us.
I don't think that is right. And a man should just have one woman. It really should be that way. It really should.
So
Okay, then. Okay, player.
So you agree a man should
No,
be...
he said he don't think a man should have one woman.
Oh, you don't agree that a man should have one woman?
No, I do agree. You should have one woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We come from a lot. We are not just here. We have generations that came before us. We have shit that stuff that came before us, and it's in our blood. It's in our genetics. Like, my granddaddy always had two women. My daddy always had two women. Like, and I don't think that's on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you think it's kind of like
Genetic.
yeah,
Passed
DNA, generational
patterns.
I think it's in your blood. Some people want to be with one person. Some people want to have multiple people.
I will say I believe that it is DNA. One thing my aunt used to say, she would say DNA has memory.
Right.
So if you come from a home where the fathers, the grandfathers, the great-grandfathers didn't cheat, you usually are blessed with a gentleman who comes from a home that, monogamy is a thing because it's embedded in his DNA.
Right.
It's about genetics. It's about what you see growing up.
Right. I think it's more about right.
You're going to be like, I should have a woman. If you see your daddy being faithful, then you're going to be like, I want that. Just like a woman.
Yeah,
her daddy being a player, she going to want to play, or she going to seek a nigga that do that. But if she sees her daddy never do nothing wrong and be very faithful, she would never mess with a nigga that cheats.
I agree. I kind of, well, a little bit, because you have a lot of parents that are strict, and they're not about that. But then they let their kids, as soon as they get that chance to get out that door, they act crazy. So I think it has to do with a balance, man. I think it has to do about the way you would. Right.
If you get addicted to the drug, you don't want to do that drug all the time, every day, or with whoever. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
That's what it is. So if that's what you was born into and you was born into that, that's how you gonna feel. Like when I was young, the motto on my street, Whitman, real little king, represent, holler at my dog. But I was taught to never let these HOE, you feel me?
We are live on the air, sir. So even your spelling.
Because I had multiple women as a young guy.
Right.
As a kid. So if you were brought up that way, that's hard to get out your brain when you older. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Especially if the women ain't doing the things that she's supposed to be doing.
Right. And like you said, man, you know, we were brought up, man, to be sexual beings, man. A lot of us, man, as guys, basically pumped our chest up on, you know, the amount of women that we could conquer. So, again, man, that sex is very important in a relationship, and hopefully, man, you know, the partner just keep you, you know, pleased. So I get it.
Oh. Wait, so that's where we're going now? That, I mean, he said if your woman is not doing what she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Grow up enough to know better.
Right. Right. I agree.
And then they want to be just with one woman because they won't want their woman cheating on them.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Because they love them. When you grow up, you grow up. That's where it comes in. I think every person got to grow up.
Right.
Sometimes you live by the rules, and when you grow up, you realize that was wrong.
And that's the important thing is that, man, that you're forever growing as a person, as a man, as a lady, is that, you know, mentally, physically, and, you know, hopefully financially, that you're always trying to do better. So I agree, as a person you're supposed to grow up, man. You're supposed to have different morals and, you know, basically live life, you know, a different way. But at the same time, you have to be true to yourself.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Keith, for calling in. Thank you for your input.
Great questions.
Yeah, it was great. Have a good rest of your Friday. Hopefully, we'll see you tonight.
I already know.
Right.
Cheer.
Yep. All right. Have a good one. Bye. You know what I realized too a lot of times is that even when a guy has been playing,
Right.
and he's been playing for years and years and years, and he's older and older, and he might have a wife and a side woman and all this stuff, eventually he gets tired.
Absolutely.
Eventually he gets tired. Sometimes somebody gets dropped in the process of being tired of being with multiple. It's almost like he said, he says he believes a man should be with one woman.
Right.
And it's like, okay, I go in, whether it is genetic or not, or from tribal of African descent, or whatever you guys want to talk about, the fact of the matter is, or we have gravitated to Western, you know, social cues or whatever. The fact of the matter is, we know that when there's one man, one woman, we're dealing with less drama, less
Right.
sexually transmitted infections. We're dealing with less outside children and less amount of families he have to take care of
Right.
in the process. But when I've noticed that some men get older, even a little old, someone ends up getting dropped. If someone doesn't end up drop dead, you know, being dropped dead, but someone ends up getting dropped because eventually he gets tired and goes back to what he feels it's supposed to be with one woman.
So I think that, you know, as a man, you would want to be with one woman. As a woman, you would want to be with one man. You know what
Right.
I mean, I think that's the ideal, is just finding the ideal person you want to be with, man, and you know, have that white picket fence, and you just, you know, enjoy life. I think that everybody's searching for that ideal story. And
Right.
a lot of people just don't realize a relationship is work. You know, a lot of people get into the relationship and just, you know, don't have to work, man. And you know, that's with guys and
Yeah,
ladies.
that is
You know what I
true.
mean? So
Right.
it's like, so I feel like you have to want a relationship. You have to want to be in it, man. And and you have to keep the fun alive, man. So that right there makes it okay. You know, I don't need anybody else. If a person is checking off all the boxes, then what do you need to look somewhere else for?
And that's good that you say that. I think some people, and I find it to be a lot of gentlemen. And I could be wrong, because there is a shift in how women are thinking now.
It's a big shift.
It is a shift, but I think also on the defense of genetics too, that women are usually more driven to be with one man. Right? So I noticed that some men will say that they want to be with this woman, but just can't seem to get that out, as if they're missing something. Because here's the thing, how do you find someone that checks off all those boxes and you still have this desire to be with somebody else? But what would that be for? Like, what is the purpose of that?
Well, I can't speak for anybody else's relationship.
Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, Beyonce got cheated on. Anybody can get cheated
on.
Oh,
absolutely.
I mean? J-Lo can't keep a husband. So, I mean, like, things happen, man, in life. Man,
right.
I think, again, man, you have to, a lot of people get what they want, and then they become complacent, man. They feel like, oh, I got it. I don't have to do it. And, you know what I mean? And then they start falling into other ways. I think that you have to keep the same appearance and of how the relationship was of when you came in. You can't shift the dynamics and think that a person is still in love with the person that wasn't there. You know what I mean? So I just think that you have to want to be in a relationship. You have to want to keep on loving that person, and you have to keep on trying. They say relationship takes a lot of work.
It's a choice, and I think that's bottom line. And if you choose to say to this person, if you choose that this person is the one for you, I think, and you let that person know that I love you, I want to be with you, I don't want this to end, and you ruin it because of the fact that you wasn't ready, you don't deserve that person.
I think, listen,
I don't think you deserve.
I think there's a lot of stupid people in this universe.
There is a lot of stupid people.
And a lot of people make mistakes. So, I mean, listen, if ladies are just good at hiding stuff. So if you was to open the curtains on what the hell ladies were doing, man, you know what I mean? Guys would be like, what the hell, man? There's 20 pictures of craziness in here, you know what I mean? And it might not even be ladies, just they allow guys that space to do stuff, you know what I mean? And guys send crazy stuff, so you know what I mean? So again, I think that, man, you know, we're in a new world where social media comes to play, where it gives you access, where the person who might have been reserved and who might have never left the house or whatever, they have action now. They're feeling alive now. They're feeling a whole sense of a person that they've never been. So they might act out. They might act out of character.
Right.
So
that could very
it's
well.
just like social media has just opened up a new world, and it's hard for people to adjust and deal with.
Right. Well, I agree with that. I definitely agree. Social media has kind of ruined some relationships, all types of relationships.
Right.
Social media has definitely had a hand in some demise of relationships. But we're at that time. I want to thank you so much, Mr. J.Williams, for coming in, Mr. Passions of Fantasies.
You already know, got
Fantasies of Passion.
Fantasies of Passion, part 1 and 2, man. We got Wrong Turn Right, Source Information. We're coming back with part 3, man, to the life story. It's going to be coming soon. You already know you can find me. This is the first half. We'll be at Pheonix Gentlemen's Night, man. You know what I mean? Come over there, ladies, man. You know, cater to the guys, man.
Definitely, ladies, man, come out. We got a boatload of gentlemen.
Got some massage chairs or something.
Yeah, we do.
Y'all catering to us, gentlemen's night or something.
We're definitely going to be catering to the men tonight. 857-544-5569, or send me a message, Pheonix Frye, on Instagram or Facebook. It's definitely going down, especially for the good guys. You know what? If you're a good guy and you know that you deserve it, come on out. If you're not, stay home. There's a lot of men that don't deserve because they just don't know how to treat people right.
Well, you know me, I'm gonna be off limits. I'm gonna be at my booth selling my book, but come drop a drink by, man, and say hello, man.
Definitely, definitely.
And as once again, man, thank you for having me, man.
Anytime.
Always been a blessing, man, to be a part of it.
Thank you for coming by. Thank you for coming to Welcome to the Tell All, where I if I can use my platform to help entrepreneurs and people talk about what they're doing, and especially if you're definitely here for the community, I am here for it. Big City Radio 88.5 FM is your number one around the way girl. I will be here again next week, 12 to 2, 12 to 1. Pheonix Frye Live, all the 90s and 2000 songs you forgot you loved, I will remind you. And then from 1 to 2 will be Welcome to the Tell All. Nobody move, nobody gets hurt. It is still going down. 88.5 FM, Big City.
Cheer. As always, man, thank you for.
Ooh, I'm about to dive in. Whoa. I was thinking about taking a couple laps. I just want to dive in. Yeah. Dive in. Yeah. Splash. Baby girl, that true waterfall. Feel it coming down on me so crazy. Yeah. Girl, I love the way your body talk. Come a little closer just like that. Keep on talking, girl, you got me.